Okay, and we are good to go. So, hello, welcome to this webinar, that we're running today on challenges. Challenges are kind of my one of my favorite things to do. I've been running them for a long time as part of my my business and as part of other people's businesses and as a part of gyms that I used to run. I'm going to do a little intro to myself in a second. I know most of you know me because I have private conversations with all of you. But just in case anyone is watching this back later on, as I will be posting it, for more people to see and be able to utilize the information contained within this webinar. I just want everyone to know, who the hell I am and why it is that I'm sitting in this place being able to talk to you about, how to run impactful challenges. So look, welcome. So a part of what I do as part of my business is the Fitness Business Club, all right? So you've all probably been in there. You're either from the Fitness Business Club or you're from my VIP community, which is the Nutrition and Lifestyle Support Hub, which means you own some of my content. So hooray, thank you very much. And we're going to talk about a few of those things and how you're going to be able to utilize some of that content. I'm just going to pop somebody else on mute. Hello, Tara. And we're good. This information is going to be useful regardless of whether you have my content or not. If you have my content, content packages, so the nutrition and lifestyle stuff, and even the seminars, obviously this is going to be very useful because you're already a step ahead because you've got everything you need in packages ready to go effectively. All right, so look, let's jump into it then. Nope. Good. There we go. Hello. So who we are. Look, I'm not going to give you the full spiel, of why I am here doing what I do now. What's important for today is just that, I have had my own health journey, over a long period of time. I sort of say that about 10 years ago, I was, if you've seen that documentary, that's called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. That was me, about, 10, 15 years ago. And so I started to get healthier and I changed one thing at a time until all of these small changes made for a huge result. I was 25 kilos overweight. I was a smoker. I was a shift worker. Every disgusting thing you could possibly imagine, that was probably me. Far from the amazing, healthy individual that I am today. But I had to go on that journey so that I was able to then relate to my clientele. And I suppose here within the fitness industry, the more of you I talk to, the more I hear, individual stories that are same but different. Often we've needed that, I don't know, crash or that wake up call or whatever it might be, our own health journey, so that we're able to relate to our clients on a far greater level. So yes, I had that, and being a shift worker, the only people I would see was the trainers in the gym, and they were always really nice. I'd go in and train in the middle of the day after I'd probably slept, until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd go to the gym, and the trainers out on the weights floor were just lovely. And I thought, this is a really cool environment. I want to be able to learn how to do this stuff. And so I'm a person who, if I want to learn something, I just go the full hog, all right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to go become a personal trainer. And at the time, I didn't think that was necessarily to be a trainer, if that makes sense. I kind of just went, I want to study this. I want to study fitness, and I want my own health journey, to increase. I'm just going to stop for 1 second. Somebody's drawing on the slide, which I always find hilarious. You're probably looking for something and then squiggling and doing weird things. You can keep squiggling away. I'm totally okay with that. I always just find it funny, but thank you. And so, I wanted to continue my own health journey. The first thing I actually did, let me reverse for a second, was I went to chef school. So I actually studied to become a chef. Not because I wanted to work as a chef, but because I wanted to be able to cook myself amazing health food for the rest of my life. So as I said, I kind of go full at things. And so I studied to be a chef, so I am a qualified chef. And then I started studying, you know, exercise specialties, strength and conditioning, sports trainer, sports medicine. You know, I just kept going and going and going. You know, I'm a yoga teacher, a meditation coach. I then studied health science for nutritional medicine, and a few other things in there as well. I always seem to forget something. And I guess that's why I'm here now, you know, is because I've continued my journey of my own health. I was a gym manager for many, many years at a few different gyms along the way. So I did end up obviously entering the fitness industry, you know, and became a trainer and PT'd. I was, you know, a back-to-back PT at a personal training studio. I've been there and done that, you know. I've taught boot camps. I also quite enjoyed high-risk clientele. So I was everywhere from, you know, dementia care facilities to working with children with autism, mental health care facilities, which was a lot of fun, a really rewarding group. So, you know, I've had a lot of experience here, there, and everywhere. And so I guess that's why I'm here now doing what I do, is because in my journey, in the fitness industry, I started seeing what I thought was missing, if that makes sense. You know, we would run challenges and we would sort of skim along the best we possibly could in terms of nutrition stuff, and in terms of lifestyle, and in terms of, you know, all those sorts of other factors. And definitely, you know, where I'm sitting now, I don't think we can skim along those things. I think, you know, we have to go hard at them with our clients, really, because exercise is only one part of the picture. And I know that we're all super in tuned trainers, because I talk to a lot of you, so I know that you're really caring and passionate about what you do, and I know you understand that exercise is only one portion, especially, you know, probably in your own lives. I'm sure you all eat amazingly all the time, of course, and, you know, even the lifestyle factors. I say all the time when I'm teaching challenges, so I teach big 8, 12-week challenges, you know, or, you know, short, sharp 4-week things or whatever. And we always have lifestyle factors contained within those challenges, because you can exercise all you want, you can be eating all the right foods, but if you are in a stressed out body, whether that's sleep deprived, dehydrated, stressed because of things going on, hormones out of whack, whatever stressor the body is under, biochemically we're stuffed. So no amount of eating right and exercising more is going to fix a person who's on a stressed out body. So we have to look after those other factors, all right? And if we can train those other factors into people over, you know, those longer challenges, those 8 to 12-week challenges, we're building long-lasting, sustainable change. And I know if you've talked to me before, it's like my catch cry. I will say that time and time again, because that's what we want to do with our clients. I know that, you know, we want long-lasting, sustainable change. So it's not about smashing out a challenge, you know, and then dropping off the wagon at the end, and having, you know, some big blowout and everyone goes drinking and, like, you know, fuck yeah, it's all over kind of thing. Like, that's not what we want. We want to instill the habits, you know, that are going to change people's lives. All right, so we will talk a little bit about that, I suppose, today, just in terms of how you might want to structure a challenge that you could put some more of those lifestyle factors into to help people's success. But we're going to talk about, you know, the logistics, the back end, the promotion, you know, all that sort of thing in relation to challenges as well. So let's get into it. That's enough about me for today. We are not playing a networking game. Let me just skip past that. Perfect. So look, these are the topics that we're going to cover today, all right? So we're going to talk about promotion, so how to promote a challenge, some of the things to do in the lead up, the promoting of the challenge. You know, we all go off to TAFE or to college or to wherever you studied, you know, over the internet, or there's so many different ways these days to become a personal trainer or a gym owner. So I know a lot of gym owners that aren't personal trainers, you know, or boot camp instructors or business owners. And we're not often taught too much in the way of promotion. I'm just going to pause 1 second. La, la, la. Hi, Danielle. Just going to turn your video off, hun. One sec, and mute you. Yeah, so we want to talk about promotion because I know back in the day I studied like probably 10 years ago now, I think, and I went to TAFE, good old TAFE back in the day. That's how I started anyway. So when I did PT, and I think we had half a business subject, like it was almost nothing, you know. We're not really taught. I think there are more business subjects out there now, with a lot of the colleges and institutes, etc. They are putting more business focus on these things. So I want to make sure that we're talking about this kind of promotion, the front end of a challenge, you know, because that's the important stuff. Often we can do the exercise, we can partner ourselves with a nutritionist or whatever it might be, you know. The actual doing of the challenge is often the easy bit, you know. It's the lead up and you know, being prepared, that's the hard part. That, you know, it's very top heavy. All of our work is in that lead up. All of the stress is probably in that lead up as well. So we want to make sure that we're having a really successful launch. So we'll talk about a few things like that today. Hypnotic copy, that's something else we're going to talk about. You're probably like, what the hell is copy? I will explain that a bit more, but hypnotic copy, copy is copywriting. That's what it's for, all right? So copywriting is actually, let me pause 1 second again, as I see people jump in. There we go. Video. Perfect. Sorry, I will just cut myself off every now and then just to make sure people are nice and private. But welcome to the new people who just jumped in. So hypnotic copy. Copy is copywriting, and it's basically the terminology for, you know, how we're going to advertise, you know, what the language is, the vernacular around how to advertise a challenge. It's a thing of its own. I actually think my next webinar for you guys is going to be about copywriting, because I get questioned time and time again, you know, in relation to, does this sound okay, Sky? How should I promote this? What should I say? You know, all those different things. And they're totally valid questions, because copywriting is a whole other beast of its own. And I can tell you, originally, copywriting did not come naturally to me. And we'll talk a bit more about that, all right? I'll make more sense of that. But just so you know what we're talking about today. Content that kills. So, you know, of course, I'm going to be partial to some of the things that I provide already. But no, look, you want to have good quality content, because you don't want your participants to get bored. You don't want them falling off midway through a challenge. You want them to stay interested. You want to bring them up-to-date stuff. You want to cover all the areas we possibly can, so that there is no room for failure. I don't really like the F word. The other F word I'm totally okay with. If you've spoken to me personally like this, you've probably heard that I do swear on the odd occasion. Sorry if that happens today. But failure, I don't like that F word, you know, because I think failure only comes from not trying. As long as we're trying and we're doing things and we're, you know, and we're continuing, you know, that's, you know, that's winning. I think that's success, all right? Even if sometimes we're not quite finding the key to somebody's success, that's okay too. You know, we might need to try a few different keys, but as long as they're continually trying and adapting and experimenting, you know, no one thing is going to work for every person. I think that's a very dangerous view, whether it's in relation to exercise or nutrition. I think both industries can be a bit naughty about that, you know, saying everyone should be this type of diet, or everyone should be that type of diet, or everyone should, you know, only subscribe to this kind of exercise, or whatever. So, you know, we want to try and work in with our clients as best we can, as I'm sure you all already do. And then just at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about the how to run a challenge. So just the structure. But as I said, I'm only going to talk on that. I think it's actually only about one slide, just at the end there, because by that stage, that's the easy part. You know, we can run a challenge, we can have the ideas, you know, you can take some notes in terms of the structure and how I sort of set out a challenge. You know, as I said, partially, I suppose, in my introduction, you know, the reason I'm here is literally because I run back-to-back challenges now. I have multiple challenges going on across the country at any one time. I'm actually a really lucky girl right now. I have 0. Quite deliberately, I said I'm taking May off. But I'll be kicking, you know, my own challenges off again come June. So I will be having my own launch sequence, you know, touching base with a few other gyms across the country. I have run back-to-back challenges in single gyms and continue to have success even in the downtime, all right? So when you structure a challenge appropriately, you know, I can run 8 weeks at one gym, have 6 weeks off, have the same people join again, and when I weigh them up and you know, do all the measurements and fitness testing for that second 8-week challenge, in the 6 weeks we've had off, they have continued to have results, because again, we're talking about long-lasting sustainable change. All right, so it's not just the 8 weeks or the 4 weeks or the 12 weeks or whatever it might be. We want, you know, ongoing success. All right, but as I said, you know, once we've got the pattern happening, then yeah, that's kind of the easy bit. It's the lead up. That's always the, you know, problematic part. So look, let's get into it. Okay. Again, I love that somebody scribbled everywhere. Well done. At any point in time, I'm just going to remind you, if you do have some questions, please type them in. This pink writing means it's for you, so you're going to have to answer a question in a second, and I will sit here awkwardly until somebody types something. So promotions and copy, all right? This is kind of the important part. You know, as I said, challenges are very top heavy, and it's often before the challenge that's the difficult part. You know, once a challenge is running, that's not so hard at all. Hello, Terry, welcome. Let me just cut your microphone and video off when I find you. There you are. Stop video. Alrighty, perfect. So promotions. Now, where to advertise, you know, is a really important thing. I think we are so used to social media these days that we've kind of forgotten that there are other avenues, you know. And I think a week ago when I said that, you know, I'm going to be bringing you this webinar, that I have 22 different ways for you, 22 different places that you can try to gather more interest, you know, generate more leads, you know, on the lead up, so during that launch time for your challenge, all right? So we want to think outside the box. You might have a really successful, you know, base of existing clientele. You might already be, you know, like what's the word? Spilling at the seams or something. I feel like I've just mixed two metaphors. You know, that's great. If that's you, if you've got all the clients you need and can handle right now, and you have that many people on your books that all you have to do is put out, I'm running a challenge, and you know that it's going to be full, that is amazing. And I know there are some of you listening that are like that, so that's really great. But for those who are kind of searching and wanting some extra clientele, we want to find other ways, you know, get a bit creative and find some new avenues on how to generate leads, you know, that isn't just through social media. We've gotten very lazy, and all we seem to be doing is, you know, Facebook posts and Facebook ads. And yes, they can be quite effective. And sometimes they're not, and we might want to reach out into our local community in other ways, you know, and see who we can find, you know, find some new people to lean on. So copy that counts. As I said, you know, what is copy? So copy is copywriting. It's the vernacular, which is the language around how we want to sell something. I can give you an example. So my book, you know, I've written a book, thank you. And the thing is that, you know, on the cover, my book is called Limitless You, The Badass Guide to Lazy, Easy, Simple Weight Loss. All right. So I cringed when I knew I had to write a weight loss book, if that makes sense. And that sounds really weird. You know, I love my book. I absolutely love it. And I'm so happy that it's out there. But, you know, sometimes we have to, the idea is give people what they want, and like sell people what they want and then give them what they need. All right. So the cover of my book is sell them what they want. People want weight loss. If that is the thing, that is the title, that is the pain point, you know, so you sell them what they want, and you give them what they need. And so what people need is confidence, is health, is stress management, are all these different areas, you know. And so that's what my book's about. So written into those pages, it's, you know, it's all about maybe not giving a fuck about weight loss. You know, to be honest, I think there's quite a few points in my book that probably say that. And so, you know, copywriting. So the front of my book, it's copywritten. It's for a particular reason, and it's not that it's not that we're manipulating the situation. That's a very evil word, isn't it? But it's because I want to help people, and I want to help people in the way that I know they need as the professional. And so to get them into my book and to get them reading it, I need to draw on what it is that they're particularly after, or what they think they're after. And then I'm going to give them what they need as the professional, because I know what it's about. You know what I mean? So kind of copywriting is like that. There are other points on copywriting that we are going to discuss today. And as I said, I really think I'm going to make you a whole other webinar on copywriting, because it isn't necessarily something that comes natural to people. And as I said, it didn't come natural to me by any means, and I'll explain why shortly. We're going to talk about why it is important. Because although, yes, you know, I love helping people. I do what I do because I'm totally passionate, and I want to teach people. I want to get, you know, you've heard me say, I've studied and studied and studied for years. I want to get the shit out of my brain and into other people's heads as well. That is what I'm passionate about. And hearing that I've been able to touch people's lives in an impactful way for long-lasting, sustainable change, changing people's health realities. This is why I do what I do. It gives me goosebumps just telling you guys, because it's legit, you know. But at the end of the day, and it sounds awful, it feels weird, you know, we're businesses, and to be able to do what we want to do and to be able to help people and impact them, you know, we have to reel them in particular ways. And that's kind of why it's important, you know, so that we can help people. So we have to kind of talk from two heads, because we have to, you know, we can know that we're passionate, we can know that we want to help people, and at the same time, we have to be a little bit businessy and a little bit salesy, but without being jerks. I am not a jerk salesperson. I think any of you who have bought my packages, I would hope that you would agree. I'm not about putting the hard word on. You know, if it's useful to you and I think it's going to be amazing for you and your clients and whatever, then oh my goodness, how exciting. You know, but it's not about like manipulating people to get into the challenge, all right? So that's kind of why it's important. And then we're going to talk about in a second as well, knowing your target, all right? Because we have to know who we're talking to, and we're not all talking to the same people, and we can't talk generalized. All right, so this is why promotion and copywriting, so the advertising is important, you know. Now, the quick question that you're actually going to have to answer for me is, give me some examples of places that you think you can advertise for your challenge. All right, so who's got any examples? You have to type them in, so you have to find the typing box. As long as you're not driving and listening on headsets. I think I saw somebody who looked like they were in the car. So somebody has to give me an example, because I'm going to sit here. I've already said, you know, Facebook groups and ads. They seem to be the two only areas I hear a lot of trainers, you know, that are advertising. Emma says, in the gym you work out with flyers and stuff like that. Absolutely, that's a really good one. Anyone else got ideas? So some of you rent spaces in gyms, some of you own gyms, some of you are, you know, contractors, some of you work outside. You know, the fitness industry is really quite varied, isn't it, in how we can who we can work with and how we work, how we choose to, you know, run our own businesses or be employed by a gym even. So Sally says community groups, so women outside of where you already work. That's a really good one. Kirsty says Instagram groups with other local businesses. Yep, that's an awesome one. Tara says mothers groups. Perfect. So I'm hearing a lot of really specific kind of things, which is awesome, because that's that last point there, know your target. So very cool. Emails, awesome. You guys already have a lot of ideas. I love it. Should I put you out of your misery? Anyone else? Or I can go on to the next page. Go. Whoop. There we go. Again, look at that person's amazing scribbles. You could have drawn a picture. That would have been so good. All right, so look, here are 22 different ways. So I said that I'd bring you 21 ways, and then I think when I was talking, I went, oh my God, I thought of another one. So 22 different ways, all right? Take a screenshot of this if you can. Take a photo with your phone onto your thing. I actually do think I posted this or something similar to this a couple of weeks ago. So again, you can message me after this and I'll tag you in that post in the Fitness Business Club. But I want to talk about these more specifically so you can get some ideas around them, because it's all well and good that you go, wow, there's a whole list of, a whole bunch of different ways. But what's going to be relevant to you? And what's relevant is going to be really different to all of you as well, all right? So look, Facebook groups and ads, we said that, targeted ads, putting up Facebook posts either on your own pages. It's really important as well that you utilize your own personal Facebook page, all right? So one of the best things that you can do, and we've been taught, I've been taught for many years, is to use your own persona, because people are purchasing you. All right, so anytime you're feeling not confident, or anytime you think, oh my goodness, a new gym has opened up next door, or oh my goodness, this trainer's so much better than me, or I don't know what to do, or, if we've all had these thoughts, when I joined the fitness industry, and I've heard this a few times now, and I actually am just like, oh, so much love to you guys, the people I've heard say this. When I joined the fitness industry, I went and I was out on the weights floor, and I'm looking at all these amazingly, beefed up people with muscles everywhere and whatever, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't fucking know shit. I was like, these people are muscly, I'm still a bit chubby around the edges, and I just feel like a fraud, and oh my goodness, and the funny thing is, I'm actually a pretty confident person, and so, I just sort of had been put into this new situation and was like, oh my goodness, do I know things? And once I got, talking to, let me see, I'm just trying to put somebody else on mute. And once I got, talking to people out on the weights floor and whatever else it was, I realized how much I knew, and on top of that, I found that I was getting clients because people liked me, So people like, if it's, I don't know, my personality or my hair, maybe they just, they want to be my PT client because they like my hair, or they like that I swear a lot, or they like that, I don't know, whatever it is, we're all different human beings, and there are different, great qualities about all of us. So be sure you're not just utilizing your business page. Business pages are dropping off these days. More groups are becoming more relevant and things like that. And using your personal profile to add value to people who are following you, to your friends, to your family, to whomever, all right? Because it's you that people are after. We all know exercise, that's great. What people are going to pick you, your personality, your character over somebody else. So make sure you're using your personal page as well. That's my little side note there. The same with your Instagram, all right? So somebody else I think said Instagram. Word of mouth, a few other people have said, yeah, awesome. So yeah, Instagram, social media, we kind of know that one. The world is just, the world has changed. And that's easy, lazy. We can be laying in bed at, at 11 o'clock at night and be making a Facebook ad or posting something to Instagram or whatever it is. And yes, it's necessary in this day and age because that's how the world works. all these other ways of things, you know, boots on the ground that we can go out and find more clientele. If you're not bursting at the seams with clientele and you want to generate more income and you want to generate more interest in your local community and you want to draw in more clientele, or maybe you don't like the clientele you've got at the moment and you don't know what's going on and you want to bring more of the people that you're passionate about towards you, how are we going to find those people, all right? So here's lots of different ways. PM Messenger. You know, if you've had clientele previously, one great way to sort of draw them back in is by sending them a private message, you know, in relation to your challenge and say, you know, hey, hey, such and such, you know, like I haven't seen you in so long and I hear you, you know, you're off doing lots of different things. I've seen on your profile. That's amazing. I just wanted to let you know that we've got this cool thing coming up. It's this challenge. It's a short, sharp, you know, 1 month thing. And I remember you mentioning ages ago that you don't like long challenges. So I just wanted you to know that, that we're actually doing this 28-day thing and you get all the meals and it's already good to go. You know, and you can just send out, and it can even be a generalized message that you change, you know, the name and the first sentence, you know, something related to that person. So it is that personal feel, touch, you know, and care, you know. So PMing people is a really great way. The one under that is MLM styled targeted post. All right, so this is one of the newer ones that I've put in there because I've been noticing it a lot lately, and it does actually tie in a little bit to the PM Messenger one a little bit, all right? So I don't know if on your feed on social media, you've been scrolling and you'll see somebody go, you know, have a post saying something like, wow, $1,500 payday, you know, like I love that I can work part-time at home, you know, and still have the kids and get a $1,500 payday every Friday. If you want to know more, maybe ask me how. You know, or drop your name in the bottom if you want to know more, or something like that. It's an invitation to draw people in because people go, shit, yeah, I want $1,500. Like, how the hell are you doing it? You know, and I look. MLM is a beast of its own. We're not here to talk about MLM, but that kind of a text or a post is quite interesting because they often get so many, you know, people underneath will go, yeah, like, you know, send me some info or something like that. So if you're kind of making a post that's styled like that, but in relation to your challenge, you know, hey, you know, lost 5 kilograms in the last however long, you know, if you want to know how, blah, 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 like, you know, drop your name below and then you PM those people. So it's an open invitation to be able to PM them. All right, and people are going to be more, I can't think of the R word, gosh, you know, when they're going to be more receiving. That's not the word I'm after. But, you know, they're going to be more open, really, to hearing what you have to say when you've posted something, because it's very passive to just kind of put something forward. And then people in their own time can go, yeah, I want to know more. And then you can PM them. It's an open invitation. Does that make sense? I'm just making sure you can all still hear me. Good, yes. So that's just one style of thing that you can do, you know, instead of just putting an ad out there or, you know, putting a post up saying challenge, here are the different features, blah, blah, you know, putting, you know, a different style of post on your personal page and having people want to engage with you, which is an open invitation for you to then personally message them. And when you're personally messaging someone, they're going to feel that connection, which means they're more likely to then join, all right? Email strategy, so somebody already said that. So I have an event in 2 weeks' time from when we're recording this. And, you know, and so we have an email strategy going out, you know, it's 2 weeks, you know, 2 weeks out, 10 days out, 10 days, 7 days, 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, day of, and then because that one's on a Friday, we then send something again on a Monday, all right? These things can be templated and adjusted each time. So once you sit down and look, at some point in time, I'm pretty sure I will actually write you guys an email strategy, so you can put your hand up and say, oh my goodness, yes, that sounds amazing. Repeat something slowly. Responsive, yes, I think so. Which bit do you need me to repeat, Emma? So yeah, having an email strategy, you know, templating it previously. Yes, the email strategy, sorry, because I went really fast. 2 weeks, 2 weeks out. if you're we're a bit slow on this particular email strategy round for this event that I'm doing because I was away. So you all know I was away a couple of weeks ago. Normally we would be sending from a month out, all right? And that doesn't mean every bloody day for a month. It means, you know, you want to gain people's interest, you know. You want to for them to sort of go, that sounds interesting. I wonder what that's going to be about. So a month out, you can be sending an email out going, hey, everybody, really exciting news. You've probably seen me do that in posts, actually, where I'll say something like, exciting news coming up. I'm not going to tell you till Monday, or I've got a secret, or something like that, or whatever. It's so people go, I want to know, you know. And although it's very true, and I promise I'm very genuine, you know, like I like you want people to get excited and connect with you, and I'm excited about the things that I'm putting out there, and I'm sure you all are as well. So if you believe in your product, then a month out you can be sending something out saying, exciting times ahead, everybody, you know, something's coming, you know, blah blah, and then and look out for an email next week, and then 3 weeks out you can send a you know, event invitation kind of thing, like, oh my goodness, like a, you know, event announcement, I'm running a challenge, blah blah, and then yeah, you do 2 weeks out, 10 days out, 7 days out, 5 days out, 4 days out, 3 days out, 2 days out, day of. All right, so kickoff or day before. You can actually, if it's for a challenge, to be honest with you, you can send up to 3 emails on the day before saying, tomorrow is measurement day. We are kicking our challenge off. It starts, you know, XYZ, all right? So if you were doing a measurement day on the weekend, you could send 3 emails on Friday reminding everybody to be at the gym or be wherever on Saturday for the measurement day, because kickoff is Monday, all right? So don't be afraid to send too many emails. You can, but there's a certain amount that is actually okay, all right? And if people are going to ignore them, people are going to ignore them anyway. But at the same time, they might go, fine, what is that? You know, they just need one heading to catch their eye, that they open that email and they go, oh, cool, this is actually of interest. All right, so that's email strategy. Referrals. Referrals are like the biggest, best thing we can possibly get. If you look across, and it's like maybe the 5th point up from the second list, social proof, all right? So social proof is terminology. It's basically people like having tick points, you know, all right? So we basically, you know, you guys message me, and this is previous to maybe purchasing a package with me, and you message me and you go, all right, I don't know, I don't really know this girl very much. I've seen a few of her posts. Maybe I've watched a video and so she seems, you know, a bit interesting or something, I don't know, a bit weird, and I like weird. Or whatever it might be, you know, that might be ticking a point there. You go, oh, okay, she seems a bit weird and I kind of like weird, tick. All right. Oh, look, she's made a post about a book. So she has a book, so she must know what she's talking about, right? Tick. There's all these different things, you know, that are called social proof. And it's basically how much we know, like, trust someone, believe what they're saying, you know, wanted to subscribe to their way of thinking, whatever else it might be, all right? That's what social proof is. So you guys are probably doing social proof without you even realizing that you're doing social proof, okay? Because testimonials, you know, before and after pictures, all of these different things are social proof. Can I do the job that I say that I can do? Well, here's a testimonial, or here's a before and after of my last challenge, or here's a success story, or whatever it might be, all right? Referrals are social proof on steroids, because if I have one of my best friends come to me and say, oh my God, this chick, you know, is amazing. You've got to come to this seminar with me. Like, I've seen her before. She's really cool. I've got a spare free ticket. You need to come along. I'm going to go, hell yeah. You know, my best friend thinks she's pretty cool. So I also, you know, have already ticked positive boxes, you know, in my head, in terms of things like that. So referrals are social proof on steroids. Does that make sense? So, you know, you want to be able to leverage and lean on that kind of thing and set set the ability up to have referral systems in place is really important, you know, and we can talk more about that if you want to know more about that. I can give you some more ideas in relation to how to get some referrals and things happening. Meetup group and events. So Fitness Business Club is a meetup group as well. So it means that, you know, if people want to come to a meetup, if there are fitness professionals out there, you know, then they can come to the Fitness Business Club. But you can also be doing it for a challenge. Like, there's no rules that say you can't go on there. And set up a challenge and set up, you know, weekly exercise classes. There are already plenty of those groups on there, you know, and gain members and momentum. You can email, do email strategies through Meetup as well. So it's just another avenue to gather more interest from a group that maybe you're not currently touching, you know. And if that gives you 3 extra clients, well, that's 3 extra clients. And if that's 3 extra clients for an entire year, do the calculations on that. Or if they come and join the challenge, you know, that's awesome. Like, this is what you want. So meetup group, events, you know, and Eventbrite. Eventbrite is another event platform that you're able to advertise through, basically. All right. So you can investigate those and see if they might resonate with your business. Flyers, so I know Emma said that before. Yep, flyers flyers can go one of 2 ways. So flyers are awesome if you're in a particular situation, like you can go to a local fair and have a stall or something, or if you're already in a gym, you know, if you're the owner of a gym or whether you're working in a gym. Sometimes the old flyer send out, you know, to houses and stuff like that doesn't necessarily work as good as it used to. It's old school marketing, you know, but it is boots on the ground. You know, you're getting out there, you're sending those flyers out. It often works better in older clientele and in areas that are a bit more affluent as well. So again, it just depends on your target, you know, your market, etc. Yeah, so flyers can be hit and miss. But that's not to say don't try them. They can be quite cheap as well. So, you know, even if you give them a bit of a go one time and see, you know, if you get any referrals or do a discount on a flyer or something you might want to do, yeah, they could absolutely work for you. CRM text messaging. So if you've got a management system where you can send out text messages to people as well, again, that's like PM Messenger on steroids. Try to not make it generalized. So even if you have to sit there maybe and not do a CRM text message out, you can do that. You know, 2 weeks out, 10 days out, you know, 7, 5, 4, 3. But why can't you text old clients as well? You know, really nice and personalized. And again, people are going to feel more drawn towards that, more responsive, as Emma said. Yeah, sending text messages. Posters as well. Posters and flyers are kind of that thing. You know, old school, you know, putting a poster up, but it is still really good because it's quite eye-catching to see a poster. You know, if you've got the right copy, so the right writing is on there, then, you know, that's really awesome as well. So there's a few interesting ones on this other list that I definitely want to cover. Cross-promotion and qualified lists. So again, this is something I'm able to do because I'm an external source of challenges for people. So because I'm able to come into, you know, your gym, your business, work with you at no cost to you, you know, and sell my challenges as if you were doing them yourself. You know, that means I can cross promote and I'm already leveraging myself off your qualified list. All right. So if I go into a gym, I say, hey, how's it going? I run challenges. This is what I do. I'm super awesome. It costs you nothing to have me come and do this. I brand it as your own. So you look like the awesome badass who's running the challenge, but I actually end up running it for you for the 8 weeks. But all you need to do is find me 10 to 20 clients. You know, so that's me leveraging off somebody else's qualified list. So I don't have to find clients, if that makes sense, all right? Because it's on the gym, or the onus is on the gym or the business to find the clients for me. Whew, that makes life a little bit easier, let me tell you. However, there's nothing to say that you can't adapt that and use that kind of strategy in your own business. You need to find where the qualified lists of people are. So cross promotion. If you want to run a challenge for a particular group of people, like a mother's group or something like that, find where the mothers groups are, you know, and leverage off that qualified list, because that particular mothers group is going to have a list of mothers, mums and bubs. That is their qualified list. And if you're able to cross promote with whatever business facility, whatever it might be, you know, that has that qualified list of mothers and bubs, then you get handed that list and you're able to then, you know, promote through them. You can do it with a lot of the different higher risk or interesting groups, you know, not our normal kind of people. So I would be able to walk into a retirement village quite easily and speak to the events, you know, coordinator. They're not really called that in retirement villages, but I've done this before. I've walked into a retirement village. I've said, hey, how's it going? This is what I do. I'm able to adapt it for your people and da-da-da-da-da. Let's try and run this. You know, they put it out in their newsletters. We put posters around, whatever else it might be in this retirement village. We find 10 people, and then I'm running a challenge for, you know, older or higher risk clientele. And I haven't had to try to search individually all these different places. I've been able to walk into a retirement village, a single site that has hundreds of, you know, gorgeous oldies. They're ready to go, and all I need is 10 of those people, you know. And there are ways you can do that. You can run a seminar, and off the back of the seminar, and I think this is actually a few points down. So I could go into a retirement village, say, I want to do this, but first let me run a free seminar night, you know, and so I'll run a health seminar. And so all these people come along to the health seminar, and the statistics say that if you're like in the fitness industry and the health industry and things like that, if you run a seminar in the lead up to a launch of something, so a launch of a challenge, whoever you have there in the room with you, you're most likely going to convert at a minimum 20 to 25% to 50% of the room. All right. So if I run a seminar night, I can convert up to 50% of the people sitting there. And if I have 30 people there, that's 15 people. That's all I want for a challenge anyway. I don't want huge challenges. I like having, you know, 20 people, something like that. And that's it, because I do a lot of individualized work. And especially if it's a high-risk clientele group, like working in a retirement village. But see how you can kind of cross-promote and utilize some of those things to find a qualified list of people who already exist. So where are your clientele? Find where your clientele are and see how you can work in, you know, with that list there. So collaboration and leverage. So that's a bit, that's same, but different, all right? So you can work in with, say, another allied health professional or something like that, you know, and collaborate. So again, you know, I am not necessarily, I am a personal trainer, but I don't PT people anymore, you know, not right now anyway. So collaboration, I might need to go to a personal trainer or a group or a gym or something like that and collaborate with them. You know, we work together to run these challenges. All right. So have a think. You're a personal trainer, or you're a gym owner, or a boot camp runner, or whatever it might be. You know, who can you collaborate with? Local nutritionists, maybe the supermarket, or, you know, a local group of some kind, a school, you know, whatever it might be. We have to get a bit creative, and we have to find where our quality people are at, all right? Call old clients, newsletters and blogs and websites and stuff like that as well. They're, again, a bit old school. We, you know, a lot of us, we all have websites because we kind of have to have websites. Again, websites are social proof. So if some of you have been talking to me on social media, you go, who is this girl? Is she a real human? Or what is this business? Or whatever. You might Google me, or you might Google my business or something like that. And if you see that I have a website, you know, you go, okay, cool, it's ticking another one of those boxes. So again, it's that social proof kind of thing. Newspaper editorial, think outside the box. I know Emma did something recently with media and things like that. I've actually done newspaper editorial as well. So when I first opened my nutrition clinic, so off the back of running gyms, and I left, I was a health and fitness coordinator at a massive sports stadium. And when I left that, and I opened my own clinic, so I had a nutrition clinic in Cronulla, and that was amazing. And so, you know, I was like, okay, so I need to leverage on some of these different ideas. You know, what am I going to do to generate some more income? To generate more income and to generate more leads in the local area. And I like to kind of go a bit big and a bit different. So I did a newspaper editorial. And the thing is, you can't just go to a newspaper and say, hey, how's it going? I'm a new business and I'm a nutritionist and I'm awesome. And, you know, like, please let me write something in your paper. You can't just do that. You have to have an angle, all right? So for me, you know, I knew that World MS Day, so I tell everybody I have multiple sclerosis. It's no big secret at all. I live very healthily, as you can see. I'm this amazing human being. And I manage it, you know, I manage my own best health through many different ways. And so, you know, owning and running a nutrition clinic and World MS Day coming up, I sort of went, okay, why don't I write a piece or offer to write a piece on living healthfully, yeah, that's the word, healthily, with a chronic disease on the lead up to World MS Day, all right? And so they were like, that's a great idea, that's awesome, you know, please, yes, let's do that, you know. And so I was able to get that newspaper editorial on the lead up, you know, on the lead up in the launch of my my business, my clinic at the time. So if you're running a challenge or even just for your business, you know, again, think outside the box. You find an angle. I know that kind of sounds a bit weird, like we go, oh my goodness, I'm playing an angle, but it's to get the people in that we want so that we can help them. So it's not that we're playing this big mean angle. It's just thinking outside the box so that we're able to draw in the clientele that we want to work with. You know, I was happy at the time to be working with high-risk clientele on major disease management, chronic illness, et cetera, and obviously having a personal story of health and wellness and living quite healthfully with a chronic disease sounds so dramatic, you know, then yeah, like I'm happy to help other people with that. That doesn't worry me because, you know, being the example of health. So again, think outside the box. I just mentioned before running a seminar upon lead up to a challenge. That is a massive one, all right? As I said, you can convert anywhere from 25% of the room at a minimum to about 50% of the room. So if you're wanting a big bang, you know, an explosion of clientele, you know, for a challenge that you're running and you need external sources somehow, that's a really good one. You can get referrals that way as well by giving out free tickets to existing clientele who bring someone. You can charge, but the idea is not to charge some huge amount. You don't run a seminar night to make money on the seminar. You run a seminar night, excuse me, I'm going to hiccup, so that you can leverage off the back of that and sort of say, you know, thanks, you know, guys, for coming to this. I'm so glad you've been interested. It's been totally amazing, etc. Yeah, free boot camp. Emma's just saying as well. Yeah, same but different. Yeah, you know, running some kind of an event on the lead up. The difference in, say, running a seminar and a boot camp is running a boot camp, there is slightly more of a, I'm going to forget the word, psychological investment into having to turn up to a free boot camp because you know you're going to get your ass kicked, you know you're going to have to do something. If you're turning up to a seminar, it's like, it sounds awful again, it's like permission to sell at the end, just a little bit, because people are already sitting there, you know, they're chilled, they know that you're going to be talking about some things, you've got slides up, you know, and so you can be subliminally messaging, you know, all the way through. It's funny, I know I've mentioned my own business through this webinar. I'm not trying to sell you anything at the end here, just so you know. There's no big sales point, but technically I probably could, you know, really, and you'd all probably be okay with that, you know, in some ways, because it's a different vibe. But definitely running a free boot camp one week, running a free seminar another week, in those few weeks on the lead up, definitely. If people are sitting and chilled and looking at a screen, they're more likely to soak it in, and you're going to have that capacity to be able to sign people up after the seminar and convert, 25 to 40%. Yeah, 25 to 40, 50% of the room. Whereas boot camp, I find it a little bit harder. Still absolutely possible, definitely, but people are a little bit more psychologically invested into having to turn up to a boot camp, so you might get a few less people. They know they're going to have to be actively involved, whereas a seminar, they can just let it wash over them, so yeah, it's slightly different beasts. Both work, but in slightly different ways. And of course, if you're not confident in sitting there and giving a seminar, because it's a little bit different, it's a little bit daunting, then yeah, boot camps, play to your strengths. So yeah, play to your strengths, definitely. Webinars, so again, like I just said, I could sell off the back of this if I wanted to, and I'm not going to. It's not for that purpose. But exactly, I've mentioned a few of the different things that I do, and whatever, and I could ask you guys and be like, hey guys, I hope you don't mind me mentioning just at the end a few of the things that we've got coming up, because I have just given a whole bunch of new content out, or I have got this challenge coming up, is what you guys would be doing. People love value. So if you're running a webinar or a seminar, and they're getting value from that, then, they're more likely to want to continue getting value from you. And so they're more likely to sign up to a challenge if they've had a seminar, a webinar, a free boot camp, or a low-cost boot camp is probably a good idea. There's a thought process that says people don't value things that are free. So sometimes it's good to, you charge a $10 ticket. It's not to make, or a $5, or, two of you for $10 or something like that, because it's not about making the money. It's so that people put value on it because they've had to pay. So they're going to be more inclined to be switched on because they're like, well, I freaking paid for this, so I'm going to get my 2 cents out of it, So yeah, that's another thing entirely. Sheep effect. Sheep effect is if you've got some really good friends or family members that you can bend their arm a little bit. If you are putting posts up, in relation to challenges and things like that coming up, you can have it's FOMO, all right? So people go, oh my goodness, fear of missing out. I want to do this. Look at all these other people who are interested. So you can have people good friends or family, or tell a couple of your clients or something like that, that can comment on your post, and that will then bounce that post back up to the top, all right? Which means more people are going to keep seeing it, all right? So I have this happen sometimes in fitness education online. So I know a lot of you are in that place as well. And so when I posted and said, hey, I do nutrition and lifestyle support packages, maybe 10 people comment, and I PM them and have my chats, and I've probably spoken to some of you exactly this way. And then a week will pass, and then one person will spot my post for some weird reason. I haven't done anything to it. And they'll write something in, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, yes, how did I miss this? I want information too. And it bumps the post back up. And then another 5 or 6 people might comment, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I wasn't ready for this. And now I have to message all these people back. That sounds really bad. I don't like it. No, I love it. But it's sheep effect, because I haven't had to do anything. One person has just made a comment. It's bounced it back up to the top. More people see, more people get FOMO and go, oh my goodness, I don't want to miss out on this. And so, if you have a family member or a staff member or, something like that, that can just write on your posts and say, something like, can't wait, this looks awesome, whatever it might be, that's just excitement. You can do a little bit of sheep effect until it is genuine. Like I said, I don't comment on that. I don't deliberately bounce that post back up sometimes when I'm talking about my nutrition and lifestyle packages and things along those lines. But sometimes it just happens anyway, all right? And so if you've got a challenge coming up, lean on people you can trust and lean on, to help sheep effect, to help bounce it back up, all right? An ebook offer. So again, there's something called a Tripwire, all right, in sales. And so a Tripwire, if you guys have sales funnels, you may or you may not, or you might be going, this is something I've been meaning to think about for ages and I should have a sales funnel and whatever. So as part of a sales funnel, excuse me, I'm just going to grab a tissue. It's probably the puppy dogs. There's like puppy dog smell. They smell like little puppies. It's so cute. Anyway, ebooks. So something called a tripwire. A tripwire is like the first part of your sales funnel. You want to have like a no-brainer, low-cost thing. People are more likely to buy from people that they've already bought from before. All right, does that make sense? So if somebody has bought something like an ebook for $5 or $10 from you, and then you say, oh my goodness, I've got this challenge coming out and it's only $100 for 4 weeks, or it's, you know, this amount or whatever it might be, $40 a week for 8 weeks, or I don't know, whatever, you know, your pricing is. If they've already purchased a $10 ebook from you, they are more likely to purchase something else, okay? So whether you've got a sales funnel set up or not, that's totally fine. You can still kind of do this same thing. Again, it's all kind of tied into this social media stuff, but there's so much more we can be doing than just posting an ad and, you know, fingers crossed, hoping for the best. You know, we want to go for the jugular. You want to try some different ways, and you want to try smart ways as well. So an ebook offer, getting people in, they love low cost value stuff, and once they've purchased a no-brainer deal, so something where it's like, oh my goodness, 60 recipes for, you know, $5, oh, that's amazing, like, why wouldn't I do that? And then they see other stuff that you've got, and they see the quality of your work, then, you know, they're more inclined to continue and purchase and stuff like that. Now, because of my toolbar, I actually can't read the bottom point properly. I know I said something about doctors and gathering new leads and stuff like that. What I think I'm trying to say there is that again, you know, if you're wanting new clientele, if you need like a new injection of clientele into your business, think outside the box with what you're doing, all right? Yes, we want to work with the people that we're passionate about, but again, have a little think outside the box. Are there other target markets that you could be hitting and enjoying and things like that? As I said, I loved working with high-risk clientele. So instead of just putting an ad out there for high-risk clientele, I can go to a mental health care facility, I can go to a dementia care facility, I can go to a retirement village, I can work with children with, you know, autism or extra needs and things like that. So they might all come under the same banner as high-risk clientele, but there's so many different areas, you know. So again, like how else, where are leads, you know, where are qualified lists of people? So working with allied health professionals who may, you know, like a physio, doing some injury, you know, you could run a challenge based on injury and healing people and stuff like that. Why can't you run a challenge, you know, with light, you know, impact exercises and things like that to help get people back to health? Why can't you run a diabetes, you know, group or something along those lines in terms of challenges? The first thing I teach when I'm running a challenge is that I actually hate challenge mentality. So yes, although we're running, you know, although we're talking about running a challenge, there's nothing to say that you can't run a, you know, get yourself back to health in 4 weeks challenge, you know, that's not really a challenge. It's a challenge, and we're running it in that nice short, sharp 4 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is, you know, and leverage off a qualified list, go to an allied health professional, speak to doctors in your local area, say that you've got this amazing thing, you know, based on the Australian dietary guidelines, and you're looking after this, that, and the other, and, you know, boots on the ground, get out there, you know, step away from the computer and the phone, and think about who's in your local area, and beyond, you know, that you can lean on to gather more clientele, all right, especially during these quieter times coming into winter as we are at the moment. You know, think outside the box, definitely. So I know I've talked about a lot of different ways here, and oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my voice. Let me just see the time. Oh, we've been going for ages. There is still more to go. So this is literally just, you know, how to promote. As I said, challenges are top heavy. All of the hard work is done in these areas. That's why there's more talking about this, you know, first and foremost, all right? So we have done the hard yards here. But yeah, it's the most important thing, because we need to get people into our challenge to begin with and then keep them in the challenge. That's what's important, all right? So let me have a sip of water. La, la, la. Okay, we're good. I'll pretend to have a voice again now. Copy that counts. So we've already talked a little bit about copy and what copy is. And as I said, I think this is going to be the next big webinar that I do. So you can write in the little text box there if yes, that is something that you would like more help with, or you want to learn more about, all right? Because as I said, copywriting, advertising, yes, please, oh my God, you know, it is a language of its own, and it does not come naturally to some people. So, 90% of people purchase emotionally, all right? And about 10% of people purchase based on, you know, logic and that kind of stuff, all right? But most people, hell yes, I hear Felicity say, yes, please, excellent, all right? So I thought as much. I think this is a massive area that literally could be its own thing. Everyone's like, oh my God, yes. Okay, so I'll be making that as a webinar. That'll be the next one. But look, we're talking about it now, you know, so this will give you a little bit of a taste, okay? So we have two parts of our brain. We have the logical side, the analytical side, and we have the creative side, the emotional side. We are working with people in a really emotional environment when you think about it, because our own health, our own well-being, our own lives, our own betterment is a really personal thing. And you have probably sat there with clients in tears or angry or, you know, that are talking passionately, or you're passionate yourself. It is a high emotional environment that we work in. Fitness, health, wellness, nutrition, you know, all lifestyle, all of these things, it's very emotional, you know, very emotionally charged. And so when we're writing our copy, you know, we want to talk to those emotions, and we want to talk to people in that way, because that is what they are wanting to fix, you know. I said to you that copywriting didn't come naturally to me to begin with. So although I am a very passionate person, and you can hear it when I talk to you, it's why I lose my voice during seminars and webinars and whatever. I'm actually a very feature-driven person when it comes to purchasing. So I know that I'm a little bit of, I'm part of that 10%, that 10% of weirdos that just are like, right, tell me the features, give me the list, you know, I can make my own decision, you don't need to sell to me, I'll work out what emotions, you know, this hits for me, if it does, you know, give me the list of features, all right? So I'm that person. I'm really irritating. You know, recently I joined a new gym. I was just changing gyms because I moved in the last month, and I literally walked in and I sat down with the lady at the gym who, you know, if you've ever worked in a gym in sales, you know that it's very structured. Give me 1 second. I'm just noticing. Hello, Chelsea. Welcome. I'm just turning your video off and your for you, so you're all nice and private, and muting you. Welcome. So yeah, I went to a gym recently and I sat down with the girl, and you know, I've been a sales consultant at the gym. You know, I worked at Fitness First 12 years ago. I was one of those assholes that ruined the fitness industry for everyone else. I didn't love it at all. I worked at Fitness First for a short amount of time because we were basically taught scripts on how to use people's pain points against them to make them sign up for a gym membership. I hated it. It hurt my soul to do that. It, again, gives me goosebumps talking about it. And the thing is that, you know, the day I quit, or the week I quit, I think it was because my manager came to me and said, you did a lot of acting when you were growing up, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, I did acting for a long period of time. And they went, cool, it's exactly like that. So you're just acting to get people to join a membership. And I was like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, I am not playing on people's pain points, making them feel worse about themselves, acting, you know, out of script to get them to sign up for a gym. No chance, you know. And so, look, I've gone on a tangent. That's interesting. So, you know, as I said, I was one of those people back in the fitness industry. I've been a sales consultant. I know how this works. And so I'm very feature driven. I'm like, don't sell to me, don't sell to me. I'm so against it, you know. I'm just like, tell me the features, I'll make my own decision. I think that was my leeway. I can't think of a word now. Anyway, tangent. So these days, I'm very logic driven. However, 90% of our clientele are not that person. They are the emotional buyers. So we have things that are either features and we have things that are benefits, all right? So features are the dot points, are the list of things. What do people get? And often, you know, when we haven't been taught about copy and copywriting, that is, you know, more often than not in the fitness industry, that's what I see us all rely on. You know, we kind of go, we say, oh, you know, what's the feature? You get 8 exercise sessions per week, and you get a food guide, and you will get a, you know, feature, and we dot point, you know, what they receive, and it doesn't speak to people's emotions. It doesn't talk to their pain points, not to manipulate their pain points in an evil fitness first back in the day kind of way, but we want to talk to people, you know, for why they're there. So it's called red brain and green brain. So red brain is the logical feature-based person. So that's me. And creative emotion, you know, what most of our clients are, because they are coming to you because they are sick of feeling disgusting in their own skin. They are sick of feeling wired but tired because they're so stressed out at work. They are sick of not being able to look at themselves in the mirror. They are sick of not being able to keep up with their children. They are sick of not, you know, being able to fit into their clothes anymore, not being energized, you know, not feeling the vitality, you know, not feeling strength in their own bones, not being able to stand up off a chair, you know, without hurting, or walk a flight of stairs, feeling embarrassed to go to the beach, you know, with their children. This is what we're fixing. This is what we're helping people with. And it's not about, like I said, manipulating that, but we want to talk to people and say, I can help you because I genuinely believe I can, and I know I can, and I know this challenge is going to help you with that. And it's not about, I have a food guide for you and some lifestyle handouts, and you're going to get 8 sessions a week and blah, blah, blah. It is not that, you know. I did write some things down just here about hypnotic language, you know, language we can use, you know, to be able to green brain it. So emotional brain it, benefits, you know, talking about the benefits, how it's going to make people feel, not what it is that they get. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. And because we're passionate, because we believe in what we're providing, it's genuine, it's real, it's not a ploy, but it's so that we can connect with our audience, so that we can connect with the people that we want to get into our challenge, that we know in our heart of hearts we can help, all right? So you want to use language that answers to those things. So you want to talk about, hypnotic words is like making things a bit more juicy as well. So yes, you can say that they're going to get a food guide, but maybe you want to say they're going to get a juicy food guide to ultimate success. And they're like, oh my goodness, that is what I want. I want ultimate success, you know. They want to feel radiant. They want to feel energized. They want their dreams to come true. Do not use the word empowered. Empowered, I've been taught this many times, is bullshit, because nobody comes to you and says, oh, my pain point is I want to feel empowered. That's not a thing. That is very much a wellness industry word that we think, you know, we're going to empower you with the tools to X, Y, Z. However, people from their pain point of view are not sitting there saying, I want to feel empowered to go to the beach in a bikini. It's not quite right, if that makes sense. Sorry, Sky, I have to go. No worries. This is like ages. No worries. Goodbye, Sally. Thank you for sticking around as long as you could. So again, you know, saying things like keys to people's success. I wrote a few things down as an example because I wanted to give you guys a really good example. So something for like mums and bubs, just they're not my normal target market, but I just picked them because I thought, all right, let's write some copy, some things we could say for that group. All right, so you don't want to rely on the features, what they get, which is food guide, meal plans, exercise, seminars, boot camp, the challenge, measurements, weigh-ins. You don't want to say all of that stuff. Yes, they get it, and yes, you can mention it, but you want to make sure you're talking emotion, how it's going to make, them feel, all right? So they're not gonna feel lost anymore, you know, with all the different diet trends and things like that that are out there. They're gonna have all their burning questions answered, you know, no more confusion. Confusion's a big thing. That's a pain point. People are so bloody confused about all the information that's out there, you know. They're gonna get the roadmap to success. All right, because they're going to get everything laid out for them. So again, that's how they're going to feel success. All right, they're going to, you know, there'll be no more dieting, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so they're just a couple of little points to kind of show you that instead of saying food guide, meal plan, exercise, this, that, and the other, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we can change the language and talk about those pain points, again, not to leverage off in a negative way, but because our challenges are to answer those things. Feel awesome, feel energized, you know, be able to look in the mirror and love who you are. It's all of this that we're providing to people. It's so much more than just exercise, you know. And so that's what Green Brain Emotional Copy is about. Again, you know, if you're more logical brained or feature based, it might not come naturally to you either, and you might want to double check. You can send ads to me and say, Sky, what do you think about this? And I'll give you a couple of ideas. You can listen to them. You might not want to, whatever, all right? But I'm happy to work with you because this is such a tricky area and so important for our challenges because our challenges are top heavy. All the work is done in this lead up part, all right? So, know your target. Excuse me. So there was this really great saying I heard a while ago, and it's written right there. Talk to many people and no one hears you. Talk to one person and everyone hears you. All right? Does that make sense? So you want to know your target. We all hear about this. Who is your target market? You know, your avatar, your ideal client. Type into the thing if you've ever actually sat down there and written out who your target is. The thing is that, you know, and I've been there as well, where we're sort of like, my target is anyone who will freaking pay me the money because, oh my goodness, I'm doing back-to-back PT. I need more clients. I will take anyone, you know. And so we cast these giant nets that don't really talk to anyone particularly. You know, we write these ads that are like, come to, you know, exercise or come to this challenge or come to whatever it might be, or, you know, and we don't really talk to anyone specifically. It is so important that we're talking specifically to a particular person, because the more we nut down who our target market is, who we want to work with, the more passionate we feel about that group. And you can have a few different groups and you can be running a few different groups. There's nothing that doesn't say that you can't be passionate about I'm passionate about nutrition, but I also love, as I said, high-risk clientele, and I also love teaching boot camps, because why the fuck wouldn't I love getting in front of a group of people and yelling at them and making them do what I want them to do? And I'm a bit of a masochist, so, you know, people's pain is entertaining to me, and, you know, all those sorts of things. You're allowed to have multiple, you know, passions. But if I am trying to target a particular type of challenge that I'm running, you know, then I've got to write that copy targeted to those people. The more generalized that copy is, the less likely you are to resonate with anyone, okay? And that is what that saying is saying. You know, talk to many people. If you think you're trying to cast your net wide because you'll take as many people as you possibly can because, oh my God, it actually is better for you, which seems so backwards. Talk to one person. Talk to your best friend as if they had that problem. Target them, you know, in that way, and you are going to find that you are talking to more people. You're resonating with more people than you ever have before. So if it's mums and bubs, you know, Talk to them like they're your best friend. Talk to those pain points that are upsetting them. What is their mentality? Where are they at, and how you're going to be able to help them, and the positive version of that, you know, how they're going to feel at the end of it, etc. Talk to one person and many will hear you, all right? So that's really important. If you want me to talk more on how to nut down your target avatar, your ideal clientele, I might be able to put up some questions that you can ask yourself if you've never done this before. You know, there are lists of questions that you can ask yourself to help nut out who your target is, if that makes sense. All right, excellent. So content is king. All right, so as I said, you know, the launching and the lead up, top heavy, challenges are top heavy, but we want to have all of our content created and ready to go. And the good thing is that I know, you know, a lot of you that are here, that would be awesome. No worries, I will do that. And we can talk about targeting our clientele a lot better another time. I'll put some posts up for that. Yeah, so some of you, you know, you have my content packages. So I know that you've got nutrition covered. I know you've got lifestyle. I know some of you have just upgraded to the packages that have seminars included, et cetera, et cetera. And it's okay if you haven't and that you don't own my content. That's not a problem either. The idea is that you want to have that stuff ready to go way in advance, you know, and don't be scared to use some of the same content. Again, you know, you might just adapt it for another time, or if you've got my packages, you've got enough content that you can mix things up, you know, and utilize some of it for one particular challenge, utilize some, you know, run a different type of challenge. You know, we've got everything from we're covering you from, you know, 8 to 12 week to, you know, 28-day short sharp, at home, in the gym with you, you know, all of that sort of stuff is covered, I know. So you want to have that stuff, you know, ready to go. You want to have the clear picture of how you're going to utilize it, and you want to make sure that you're not overloading your clientele either. You want to drip feed them, all right? So if you've got, you know, and if you haven't got my packages, again, that's totally okay. You can sit down and write out, you know, 12 different topics that you think are really important, and you can write a paragraph for each of those 12 topics, lifestyle topics, you know, and, you know, and 10 points maybe, or a paragraph or whatever under each of the headings, you know, that you think are really important. So it's super simple, but you want to have all that stuff to go way in advance, and you want to drip feed people. So do not overload them with every single bit of content that you could possibly give them in one foul swoop. At the beginning of the challenge, you will overload people. Yeah, and an overloaded person is not a compliant person. You know, there are other sayings, I'm sure, that are more eloquent than that are out there. But yeah, basically, don't overload people. Drip feed them. You're going to get long-lasting, sustainable change, greater amount of success. You know, when we're able to send bits of information out week to week to week, all right, so that they can soak in the new idea, they can take on those points, they can work on that, you know, for that week, and then they can, you know, take on another point the week after, all right? Exercise, guys, I know you have that stuff covered. Nutrition, either, you know, utilize the packages that you've got, or if you don't have my packages and you don't want them, cool, no worries. That's, again, I'm not here to sell today, I promise. But, you know, nutrition is so important for the success of our clients. So find a local nutritionist or dietitian or someone else you can leverage off, another allied health professional, and see how you guys can work in with one another so that you've got those things covered, and you've got them covered in a really professional way, and you're not personally having to fork out any extra money, you know, because you can work in some kind of an allied fashion, all right, which is fantastic. And in terms, again, of lifestyle stuff, excuse me, I think I'm going to hiccup again. Lifestyle things, I think this is the area that we often miss. So this is the stuff that back in the day when I was running challenges in gyms and I was running big gyms, that I was always just like, go to Teach Bootcamp, love what you've heard so far, would like to watch the recording. No worries, Chelsea, no problem at all, enjoy Bootcamp. See you later. And it will be, I will be posting this video so you guys can watch it back. I totally understand we're going for ages. Amazing. Whoops. Lifestyle factors, it's often the part that we're missing. I've told you guys that I wrote a book, blah, blah. What's interesting, I think, is that when I wrote it, this is actually what surprised me, that I kind of knew this, and then until I put it in book fashion, you know, it was very obvious to me at that stage. As I said, we can exercise all we want, we can eat all the right foods. If we don't have our lifestyle factors, stress, and all those things in check, then, you know, we can exercise all we want, we can eat all the right foods, biochemically we're fucked. It's that simple, you know. And so when I wrote my book, I come from fitness first and foremost. I am a nutritionist, I am a chef, I am all these different things first, you know. I come from health science, the science of health, you know. And the first 6 chapters of my book are confidence, you know, being a badass, stress, sleep, the missing links, lifestyle factors. The first 6 chapters, that's half the book, is lifestyle factors. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know, for somebody who's an exercise specialist and a, you know, nutritionist and all the things that I am, and, you know, and I know how important those lifestyle factors are. So you really want to make sure that you have some content that's covering off those lifestyle factors, because again, that's the kind of stuff that's going to put you above the market, you know, as well, because if other people around you aren't doing that, then, you know, you're going to have far more long-lasting, sustainable change and success with your clientele than other trainers. And that's where you're going to get the referrals, and that's why people are going to keep coming back to you, because you're a one-stop shop. And the thing is, these days in the fitness industry, people don't often just straight up come to a nutritionist. They don't, you know. I'm a nutritionist, I had a clinic, and generally people have gym memberships, or they'll have a PT or something like that. As PTs, we are expected to have all the bloody answers. And the thing is, sometimes we don't have all the answers in a concise way to be able to utilize with our clientele. So, you know, if we've got some lifestyle handouts and things along those lines, if we're running challenges that covers exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle, you know, then again, this is what's going to put us ahead of the game, all right, and why people are going to keep coming back to us for success. Alrighty. Whew, I know we're not far off the end now, don't worry. I think it's 2 more slides. So the structure and the how-to, as I said, all of the important stuff happens in the beginning. I've given you lots of different ideas on how to promote. You know, you can write a lead in calendar. I've done this, a 6-week lead in calendar, including emails. This is something that in the future I actually do think I'm going to create for fitness industry professionals. 1, because we're not taught it as a personal trainer. 2, because who the hell has the time when you're running back-to-back clientele? You just want a nice launch process. I know how important. There are a lot out there, so, you know, maybe you'll be able to find somebody else to leverage off, you know, because, you know, all the hard work is done in the beginning of the challenge, all right? Although I mentioned 22 different ways that you're able to promote, I do also think it's important to pick a few different ways, a few outside of the box ones, and the usual kind of social media stuff, you know, to do, but don't focus on all of them. Don't do all 22. Trial a few and see what works for you, and then go from there. And if they don't work in that particular challenge, you know, adapt them, change them for the next one. All right, but don't be, what is it, like a jack of all trades, I suppose, but, you know, don't, I'm a jack of all trades, and I don't think there's a problem with that. Damn it. Don't go for too many different things is what I'm trying to say here, you know. Find 3, maybe, you know, start with 3 different slightly outside of the box ways to promote your challenge first and foremost, you know, and then see how they go and continue from there. Have your content ready, know what you're doing, what you're providing people, and write appropriate copy that is related to their feelings and the emotion and what it is that you're providing for their life, you know, not what it is that you're providing to them in a feature-based dot point kind of a way in terms of, you know, manuals and handouts and that kind of thing. We want to move away from that a little bit. You can still have it there, but it's not the first and foremost important way. Week 0, so always have measurements, fitness testing, all those sorts of things. I call it week 0 because it's the week before the challenge happens, all right? So that's week 0 for me, because if I'm running an 8-week challenge, then we've got week 1. So obviously, you know, measurements, fitness testing, when I'm doing nutrition calculations and things like that, I need some time to be able to do individual nutrition calculations. So week 0, all of that happens. And remember to think about that seminar night at least 2 weeks out. If you want high conversion, you should be promoting, not necessarily that you're running a challenge, but you should be promoting a seminar night on the lead up to the challenge. So then on the night of the seminar, you can promote the challenge and convert a minimum 25% of the room to 50% of the room, okay? Really, really important. During a challenge, again, this is part of the structure, I always have a midway amp up, I call it. So something different. If I'm running an 8-week challenge, in the middle, I'll do like a 3-day smoothie detox as a bit of a surprise or something. You might want to do a fun run, a mud run, a mountain climb. You can have it exercise-based. It doesn't have to be nutrition-based. Obviously, I lean there sometimes. An event, you know, because people often do really amazing things for the first 4 weeks and then they start to crash a little bit. So we want to make sure that we're, you know, not losing people midway. So, you know, having something that's going to shake people up, get them interested again, get them back on the right track, and, you know, really smash out that last few weeks, you know, is actually quite good on their brain and on their success, okay? So definitely have a midway amp up, whatever, you know, whatever kind of an idea you want there. Community. You want to build a tribe of raving fans, okay? That is first and foremost the thing that you want to do, all right? Build a tribe of raving fans, you know? So having lots of content, always adding value, and I don't mean value like dollar value, I mean value to their lives. You know, I hope this seminar is of value to you guys, because if you can take a few dot points and you guys can go and you can impact your own clients, if you can make a little bit of extra money, if, you know, if my content helps you grow your business, whatever it is, you know, this makes my heart sing. It makes me very happy to be able to do that. And if, you know, and when people say really lovely things to me, like, thank you for helping me, or thank you for doing this, or whatever, you know, that's building a tribe of raving fans, you know. And I think sometimes the proof is in the pudding. When, you know, I recently released some new programs, some new content for fitness businesses, and so many of my my existing clientele who had already purchased packages were right there to, you know, get some more content happening and things like that, because, you know, they know, like, and trust me, and they can see that what, you know, I'm doing helps them, helps their business. There is no bigger compliment than that, you know, for me, because I can't keep doing one-on-one clientele, you know, and only touching single individual lives. You know, I love being able to help a business, because a business is then being able to help, you know, 20, 30 of their clients, which means I can help thousands upon thousands of people, you know, and that to me is amazing, and a dream come true. So you want to create raving fans, all right? So have a private Facebook group for your challenge members. It's not hard to set up. Have theme days, you know, recipe shares, do Facebook Lives. You know, people are kinder than we think. A lot of people are scared of Facebook Lives. Just get on there, talk for 5 minutes about, you know, why it's important to do squats with appropriate technique, why it's important to not drink all weekend, why it's important to look after our stress, you know. Just write, pick a topic, write 5 points, have a little notepad sitting next to you, you know, whatever you need to do, and just do a Facebook Live. People are going to be very kind. They're purchasing you and their love for you as well as a person. So don't be scared to do, you know, videos or lives or things like that. Mini challenges. Another great thing that I do is I always give homework. So if I'm doing an 8-week challenge, I actually give 3 documentaries that line up with particular weeks of my challenges, and I make people watch documentaries of their homework, all right? Because they can just sit there, they can watch it whenever they want during that week, they can soak it in, you know, and they're really particular documentaries that help double down on all of the nutrition and lifestyle stuff, as well as the exercise that I'm trying to teach people. So hearing it from another source other than my mouth is really important. So have homework for people, you know, get them actively involved in their own best health, all right? And then they're going to have better outcomes for it. Recipe shares, engaging questions, inspiring quotes, you know, all these sorts of different things, all right? If you'd like some ideas on how to template stuff like that, like, I get it. Nobody wants to think in their business and have to sit down and go, oh my God, like it seems like such a huge task. Templating stuff. So again, I'm happy to write some, you know, what a week, you know, of posts might look like, you know, a formula to that for your challenge group. And again, if that's something you're interested in, then I'm really happy to do that. I'm going to make a note about that. So what do we want? We want emails, we want copy, and we want a formula. Yes, please. Formula for posts. Perfect. No worries. Engagement is so important. We, you know, so that challenges aren't happening to people, you know, they need to be actively involved in their own best health outcomes. You know, we've all had those PT clients that you just want to, it sounds awful, I really am not this mean, I promise you, but you just want to strangle them and shake them wildly, and you're like, just do something, oh my goodness, you know, like, kind of thing. We've all had those clients. They have to be actively involved in their own best health outcomes, because I've done it myself, even in my own challenges, where I throw at people every tool. I drip feed them. I give them, you know, the engagement through the week. I give them multiple different avenues. They get seminars, they get nutrition manuals. So whether they're a reading learner or a listening learner, you know, I'm always posting things, relevant things, not just shit for the sake of posting shit, you know, in my challenges. People have 24/7 access to me in my challenges. If people, like you guys would already know, you just text me at 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to answer you. So you can give people all the tools in the world, and on the odd occasion you're still going to have that person, you know, that just isn't engaged, and that's okay. That happens sometimes, and we have to just take a breath and take a step back. It's hard for our own emotions, being a really caring person, and you're like, I just want you to, you know, like, kind of thing. But yeah, engagement is so important, because, you know, people have to be switched on in their own health journey, and if they're not quite there yet, maybe they're passively soaking in a few things, and that's okay too, you know. It might take them a few challenge goes or a few different gyms or a few whatevers, you know, for some more stuff to sink in, and that's okay. That's their journey. So don't be disheartened by that. You know, sometimes we need to hear things a few times before it sinks in. So build that community. You want to have engagement, and keep the engagement the entire time, especially if you're doing longer challenges. I think 8 weeks is a good amount of time, and I think 8 weeks with some kind of midway amp up to ensure that you're still, you've still got engagement with those people, definitely. That's it. So look, there's my book. I said I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm actually not trying to sell that. You know, that is how I run challenges, I suppose, after many, many years of failing. You know, I don't think I was an amazing gym manager back in the day, to be honest with you. I think being a gym manager for me was a massive learning curve on how not to do things, or maybe, if that makes it sound like all I did was, like, you know, stuff things up. No. I think that where I came from at that point in time for me was that I saw the needs in our industry. I saw what was missing, and what I felt was missing was, you know, definitely having that connection to the nutrition side of things, and definitely having that even bigger connection and requirement for the lifestyle side of things. You know, we all know exercise. We're all very good at that. We're all taught that. We aren't necessarily taught business. I was lucky I did study business early on, and I've continued to study business. You know, still now I study business in many different ways, you know, to be able to better help you guys, you know, in terms of sales, in terms of promotion and advertising and copy. Like I said, I was not I am not a naturally gifted person. I've met naturally gifted people in terms of copywriters. For me, I have to think about it. But you know, my vernacular is far greater because I've had to continue to learn those things, and now, you know, be able to help you guys with nutrition and lifestyle and exercise copy and things like that as well. You know, as I said, remember that the hard part is at the beginning. You know, it's the launching, it's the advertising, it's the promotion, it's the copy. That's why we're so, you know, heavy at that beginning point of view. The running is easy. The running's the fun part. Once it's all going, it's smooth sailing, you know. I think that, I feel that, and I know that from the types of challenges, the success that I've had in the last, you know, probably 3 years, of being able to step into a gym, take over, run, you know, challenges, do what I do best these days. Again, as I said, because of the years of learning, you know, from being a you know, running sports centers, having staff of a squillion, you know, and doing all the different things that we did, I did back then, you know, and being able to do it in a far more effective way now, you know, off the back of all the learning, and being able to help you guys with all the amazing content, you know, knowing the gaps that needed filling, because when we're back-to-back teaching or clienteling or whatever, we don't have the time to create this stuff. So knowing you've got it all there is amazing. That is it from me. I know this was way longer than I remember it being, so there you go. It wasn't 40 minutes at all. I think we've gone for about an hour and a half, possibly more. I hope that was useful. Goodbye, Felicity. I can see you're dropping out there. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. You are most welcome. Again, you know, if you have questions, thank you so much, Emma, as well. You all know where to find me, and definitely, you know, save that list of 22 different ways. So when you're like, far out, I'm not getting any clients for my boot camp or my challenges, or I want more PT, you've got more places to leverage off. All right, think outside the box. Okay, love you guys. All right, bye.